Welcome to our Life After 40 Midlife Bible Study. This is not a sermon, it is a reflection on Scripture through the lens of midlife, where achievement, ambition, satisfaction, and meaning often begin to look different. My name is Philip Blackett. I am a husband, father, follower of Jesus Christ, and the founder of Life After 40. I help adults in midlife transform their health, wealth, and relationships, both with God and with one another, so they can thrive in the second half of life. For more support, visit our website at lifeafter40.com, subscribe to our channel here, and join our midlife transformation community at the link below. Now, let's get back into the Word of God. Last week, we reflected on Proverbs chapter 4. We talked about guarding the heart, about how our attention shapes our inner life and how our inner life shapes the direction of our decisions. Today, we turn to the book of Ecclesiastes, and we begin with the question many adults quietly ask after 40. What if the things I worked so hard to achieve no longer feel as satisfying as I expected? That can be an unsettling question because many of us spend decades believing that the next milestone will finally bring peace, the next promotion, the next income level, the next accomplishment, the next opportunity, the next season. But sometimes we arrive at the thing we wanted so badly and discover that satisfaction did not arrive with it. Ecclesiastes speaks directly into that experience. I will be reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verses 1 through 14 from the NIV version. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless. Meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the earth its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. I, the teacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem. I applied my mind to study and to explore by wisdom all that is done under the heavens. What a heavy burden God has laid on mankind. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Ecclesiastes is written from the perspective of someone often called the teacher or the preacher. He reflects on work, pleasure, wisdom, wealth, time, aging, death, meaning. He is not speaking as someone who never achieved anything. He is, in fact, speaking as someone who has seen a great deal, experienced a great deal, and accomplished a great deal. And yet he looks at life and asks, what does all this add up to? That is a distinctly midlife question. Not because younger people never ask it, but because after 40 years old, you have lived long enough to test some of the promises the world makes. You have seen that success can be real and still be incomplete. Let's revisit verses 2 and 3 together. Meaningless. Meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all the labors at which they toil under the sun? Meaningless. The word translated as meaningless can also carry the idea of a vapor, a breath, mist, something real but difficult to grasp, something present for a moment and then gone the next. The teacher is not necessarily saying that nothing matters. He is asking whether the things we chase can carry the weight of ultimate meaning. Can work do that? Can money do that? Can recognition do that? Can accomplishment do that? Can pleasure do that? These things may have value, but can they tell you who you are? Can they heal your deepest wounds? Can they remove your fear? Can they guarantee peace? Can they make your life last? The teacher exposing the limits of what life under the sun can provide by itself. What do people gain from all the labors at which they toil under the sun? That is not an anti work question. It is a meaning question. Work matters. Providing for the people you love matters. Building something significant matters. Serving others matters. Creating something worthwhile matters. But there is a difference between work having meaning and asking work to become your meaning. There is a difference between accomplishing something and believing accomplishment will complete you. Midlife is often when that distinction becomes clearer. You may still care about your work, but you begin to ask deeper questions. What is this costing me? Who am I becoming in the process? What remains when the title changes? What happens if the applause stops? What have I neglected while pursuing success? Those are not signs that you have lost ambition. They may be signs that your definition of success is maturing. Achievement can create a powerful cycle. You set a goal, you work toward it, you reach it, you feel satisfaction. Then the satisfaction fades. So you set another goal, and another, and another. You see, there's nothing inherently wrong with goals, but if achievement becomes a primary source of identity, the cycle never ends because every accomplishment eventually becomes normal. What once felt extraordinary to you now becomes expected. The promotion becomes the job. The new income becomes a new baseline. The milestone becomes yesterday's news. And soon the question returns, what is next? That question can create momentum, but it can also create restlessness. Some people reach midlife disappointed because they did not achieve what they had hoped. Others reach midlife confused because they did achieve what they hoped, and it still was not enough. Both experiences can create grief. One grieves the dream that did not happen. The other grieves the dream that happened but could not deliver what it had originally promised. Ecclesiastes makes room for both. It allows us to admit, I achieved something valuable, but it did not answer every question. I built something meaningful, but it did not heal everything inside me. I am grateful for what I have, but I still sense that something is missing. That honesty is not ingratitude, it is discernment. Let's revisit verse 8. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. The eye never has enough of seeing. The ear never has its fill of hearing. That sounds surprisingly modern. There is always more to watch, more to read, more to buy, more to experience, more to learn, more to compare, more to pursue, more to consume. And yet abundance does not always create contentment. Sometimes it creates greater appetite. The more we see, the more aware we become of what we do not have. The more we hear, the more voices compete for our attention. The more possibilities we encounter, the more difficult it becomes to feel satisfied with the life directly in front of us. In an earlier generation, you might compare yourself mostly with people in your local community. Today, you can compare your ordinary Tuesday with someone else's greatest moment from anywhere in the world. Their success, their home, their body, their marriage, their vacation, their platform, their business, their ministry, their children, their lifestyle. And the eye never has enough. There is always someone doing more, earning more, traveling more, growing faster, appearing happier. If your sense of meaning depends on keeping up, you will never fully arrive because the finish line keeps moving. All things are wearisome. We often assume stimulation gives us energy, but constant stimulation can become exhausting. The mind never settles. The heart never processes. The soul never becomes quiet enough to recognize what it actually needs. This connects directly to last week's study on attention. If everything receives your attention, nothing receives your depth. If you are always consuming, you may never pause long enough to ask, is this nourishing me? Is this shaping me? Is this helping me live with greater wisdom? Or am I simply filling silence? Pleasure is not the same as meaning. Pleasure can be good. A good meal with loved ones, a beautiful trip with family, a joyful experience with friends, a meaningful celebration among colleagues at work. But pleasure is usually temporary. Meaning gives the experience a place within a larger story. You can enjoy something without expecting it to save you. You can appreciate success without asking it to define you. You can receive pleasure as a gift without making it your God. Ecclesiastes is not teaching us to reject life. It is teaching us not to demand from temporary things what only eternal things can fully provide. Let's revisit verse 14. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. That is a striking image. Chasing the wind. You can feel it, you can see its effects, but you cannot hold it. You cannot capture it. You cannot possess it. And some pursuits are like that. They keep you moving, they keep you busy, they keep you focused, but they never give you the sense of arrival that you had expected. You accomplish one thing, and then now you need another. You gain recognition, then fear losing it. You build wealth, then now worry about protecting it. You reach a level of influence, then feel pressure to maintain it. You keep chasing, but the wind remains just beyond your grasp. Now, ambition can be healthy. It can motivate us to create, contribute, and grow. But ambition becomes dangerous when it carries our identity. When success means I matter and failure means I do not matter. When progress means I am secure and delay means I am falling behind. When recognition means I am valuable and obscurity means I am forgotten. That is too much weight for achievement to carry because it was never designed to tell you your full worth. Midlife is often described as a crisis, but sometimes it is better understood as a meaning reckoning, a season where the questions become more honest. What actually matters to me now? What will remain after this? What is worth my limited time on earth? What relationships need more attention than others? What have I been chasing? What kind of person am I becoming? What do I want the second half of my life to be about? Those questions can feel disruptive, but they can also be gifts because they invite you to stop living automatically. They invite recalibration. The message of Ecclesiastes is not that success is bad. The issue is expecting success to satisfy a hunger it cannot reach. A career can provide purpose, but it cannot be your whole identity. Money can provide options, but it cannot guarantee peace. Recognition can expand influence, but it cannot secure love. Achievement can open doors, but it cannot make you whole. These things can serve life, they just cannot become the source of life. Much of what gives life meaning is relational. Your relationship with God, your relationship with people around you, the love you give, the wisdom you share, the presence you offer, the service you provide, the character you develop, the lives you influence. These things may not always look impressive. They may not be trending. They may not create public recognition, but they often become the things people value most when they look back. I have noticed how easy it is to believe the next level will resolve the tension I feel at the current level, the next milestone, the next opportunity, the next amount of growth. And there is nothing wrong with pursuing progress, but progress alone cannot create peace. Sometimes the deeper work is asking, why do I want this? What am I hoping it will prove? What need am I asking this accomplishment to meet? Those questions can reveal whether ambition is being driven by purpose or by our own insecurity. Ecclesiastes does not ask us to stop building. It asks us to stop worshiping what we build. It does not ask us to stop working. It asks us to remember that work is not God. It does not ask us to reject achievement. It asks us to put achievement in its proper place. Because success can be a part of a meaningful life, but it cannot be the foundation of one. A useful midlife question we can ask ourselves is this: if this were taken away, what would remain? If the title changed, what would remain? If the business slowed or disappeared, what would remain? If recognition faded, what would remain? If your physical capacity changed, what would remain? Your character, your faith, your relationships, your influence, your integrity, your love, your wisdom. Those are not secondary things. They may be the most important things. Here's the question for you for this week. What have you been pursuing that you hoped would satisfy you more than it actually has? In a second layer, what source of deeper meaning may need more attention in your life right now? Do not answer from guilt, answer from honesty, because this passage is not condemning your achievements. It is inviting you to build your life on something strong enough to hold it. Ecclesiastes gives language to a feeling many people are afraid to admit. I have accomplished something, but I still want something deeper. That does not mean your work was wasted. It does not mean your success was false. It means the human soul was designed for more than achievement, more than consumption, more than recognition from others, more than chasing what can never be held permanently. This week, notice what you are chasing. Notice what you expect it to give you, and ask whether it has the capacity to deliver. You do not have to abandon ambition. You just may need to reorder it. Let success become a tool, not an identity. Let work become service, not salvation. Let achievement become stewardship, not proof of your self worth. And if you're navigating midlife, health, purpose, faith, and relationships, and want to reflect with others walking through the season, our midlife transformation community is always open to you when you're ready. But for now, stop chasing the wind. Build your life around what truly lasts. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to share this with someone that this can help. Take care, and I'll see you next week in our midlife Bible study. Bye for now.